What we do here is go back, 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 back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nailed It. My name is Caleb Nail. It's August. We have made it to August, and it is Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. August 1st, 2025. A beautiful morning. Man, it's always so nice in the morning in the summer in the Central Valley. Welcome in. If you're not from the Central Valley, we're happy you're here. This show is catered towards the Central Valley. Today, what is on the outline is we have our top 5 college quarterbacks for the West Coast, because I believe the West Coast needs more coverage, needs more love. We're going to do that here. I love college football. We're going to talk about college football majority of the time on this show. If you're new, man, didn't take my allergy pill once again. I apologize, everybody. If you're new to the show, we start every day with a reading from the Bible. We've been going through the book of James. We're in James chapter 5. We're going to start with that today. We're going to talk about the top 5 college quarterbacks on the West Coast. And then we have our segment that comes around every Friday that is Overhyped or Underhyped. You submit topics, we go over them. Is it being overhyped in culture, or is it being underhyped? And I give you my thoughts. Before we get to all that, we're going to open up our Bibles to James chapter 5, verse 7. We are reading verses 7 through 12 today. Be patient then, brothers and sisters, until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. You too be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Don't grumble against one another, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. Brothers and sisters, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, take the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. As you know, we count as blessed those who have persevered. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Above all, do not swear, not by heaven or by earth or by anything else. All you need to say is a simple yes or no. Otherwise, you will be condemned. I think verse at the beginning, I'll go through it again. But again, this is powerful. Be patient. First thing, be patient until the Lord's coming. And I would say, be patient. Even the Lord may not come in our lifetime. Be patient until we see the Lord. Isn't that hard? Then he uses the farmer, which I think in the Central Valley, we understand that. The farmer has to be patient, waiting for the autumn and spring rains. Or if you're in the valley and you're a farmer, you're waiting for the rain, you know what that's like. It says, you too be patient and stand firm, because the Lord's coming is near. Don't grumble against one another, or you will be judged. The judge is standing at the door. I was talking to my wife last night, and we spent a lot of time in prayer because there is very little peace going on earth right now. So many so many people grumbling against one another. Christians grumbling against Christians even. I would even ask, going off topic right now, I would even ask that you guys pray for Syria right now. My wife's dad, so my father-in-law, his wife, it's my wife's stepmom, and they got married right before we got married, a couple years before us. Anyway, she is from Syria, and her family is from the town that is being overrun by evil men, and they are slaughtering people. She talked to her sister or mother, and they actually knocked on their door, and her mother had a conversation with those men, and they ended up leaving. They didn't touch them, but they went through and slaughtered everyone else, women, children, everyone. But for some reason, they left my father-in-law's wife's family alone for no, and they believe the same thing everyone else does. And I'll say this, just so that people have more of an understanding of what's going on over there. And my plan is to get my father-in-law on, have him talk, because he is also from Syria, Kuwait area, and immigrated here years ago when he was in college. But they are, it is a Muslim sect that is slaughtering these people. And I have to be careful what I say because I don't know everything that's going on. But they are killing not just Christians, but others that claim to be Muslim, but are not the Muslim that they are, that they say they are. They're going through and killing them, and I believe it started. We're not sure, so I better not say. I don't know why it started. I don't know why. But just pray for peace. And sometimes that takes patience. So James goes on to say, we count as blessed those who have persevered. We're so entitled here in the United States, especially Christians in the United States. Having a conversation with one of my friends on the way home from work yesterday, actually on the telephone, about it is so easy to go about living as a comfortable Christian. And we are not called to be hyphenated Christians. There's so many people saying, well, I'm a conservative Christian. I'm a liberal Christian. I'm a straight Christian. I'm a gay Christian. I'm a white Christian. I'm a black Christian. That doesn't work. You can't do that. You're a Christian. You're a Christian. You're a Christian. And that's it. End of story. And we have to read the Bible and follow the teachings of Jesus. And we have become so comfortable that we miss the main part and I'd say the number one commandment as of right now in the Bible. That is, go and make disciples of all nations. There are people who are being killed for doing that right now. In the United States, we have, I could do this. We could go to church every Sunday, and churches are flooded with people every Sunday in the United States. Yes, it's a little tougher nowadays. Like, there are people speaking out against it and doing things against it. But generally speaking, we have no issues. And we look at the people in Syria, and the people in Nigeria, the people in China, and all across the world who are being just killed, slaughtered because of their faith in Jesus Christ. And they are still flooding the streets after this happens, praising Jesus. And we can't even walk over to our neighbor's house and invite them to church or invite them over for dinner. I felt convicted last night as my wife told me these things that she talked with her stepmom. Man, we're getting way too comfortable here. We need to start telling people about Jesus, no matter what the situation is. That's what we're called to do. And only the Lord can bring that kind of peace. You have peace in the storm. You have, and this brings me back to verse 11. We count as blessed those who have persevered. I pray that you continue to persevere, that we continue to persevere through this, continue to persevere through a secular culture in the United States that is not going to like what we're going to bring and what we have to say. I guarantee you, many people clicked on this video thinking they were going to get college quarterbacks on the West Coast right away. And they're not expecting this, and they're getting frustrated with me. But I think this is the most important thing. You have heard of Job's perseverance and have seen what the Lord finally brought about. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. See, the Lord wants us to be successful. Right? And in order to get to the places we want to be, if it's good and honors the Lord, He will allow it. But we need to persevere. And I think that perseverance teaches us so many things, good things. The Lord is full of compassion and mercy. Life ends. I was talking about this with my wife last night. Whether we die a tragic death on earth or we die of old age, in sleeping in our bed at night, the Lord is compassionate, He is merciful, and when we die, if you are a believer in Jesus Christ, you will see Him at the gates. I believe that. Now, we have to stand in front of Him and be judged, but if you believe that Jesus is your Savior, died on the cross and rose again, He took that price for us. All these things, I believe one of the things that will be said is, Caleb, look at all these things you screwed up. I know. Please forgive me, Lord. Yep, I did. Come on in. There was repentance. You have repented. Man, that is mercy right there at its finest. The Lord is just, I'm such an evil human being and I sinned against Him, and He has compassion and mercy that He still wants to be with me and still wants to love me and even wants to be with me right now as I'm sitting here on earth. Amazing. Above all, do not swear, not by heaven or by earth or by anything else. All you need to say is a simple yes or no. Otherwise, you will be condemned. And that's just great advice. Yes or no. That's all you need. Every time I read this, I take a week. You know what? I'm just going to say yes or no. My wife always says, the less words, the better. And James gets right to the point. Yes or no. You don't need to swear by heaven or by earth or by anything else. All you need to say, simple yes or no. Easy enough. Awesome. Awesome. We are almost done with James. Next Monday, we will finish the book of James. And then I think I would like to go just keep reading. Let's go into 1 Peter. Keep reading. All right. Let's talk college football quarterbacks. Then we got overhyped, underhyped, and then a couple MLB trade deadline things, and a one NFL thing, and then I want to get to. I'm going to need your guys' help with something. So stick around for the end. I need you to send me a couple things. Okay, so the West Coast does not get any love. I see all these team previews and all the mainstream media doing these things for college football. And does the West Coast get any love? I mean, Colorado and west of that? No. West of the Rockies, nobody gets any love. Other than Colorado, because Dion's there. That's it. So we're going to start giving them some love. And we're going to start by giving out the top 5 college quarterbacks on the West Coast. So, number 5. Should I go? Let's go 1 through. Let's start with number 1, because I think everybody knows how that's going to go. Number 1 is Sam Leavitt, quarterback from Arizona State. He's returning from a nice run. He's young, by the way. Nice run in the college football play. I say nice run. They didn't win a game, but they gave Texas everything they had, and it took them to overtime. And I think Sam Leavitt, with the weapons he has, Tyson, he's a wide receiver over there, and Jalen Moss, former Fresno State wide receiver, and San Joaquin Memorial wide receiver, he's going to do just fine. Yes, they lost Cam Scatterbo. That's a running back. Running backs, in my opinion, are very replaceable. As much as I love Cam Scatterbo, he's my favorite running back last year, just because his toughness and his grit, and he loved the game. But Sam Leavitt has plenty of weapons, and I think they're going to throw the ball all over the yard. I'm leaving him at number 1. I think many would have him at number 1. Number 2, forgive me, Nico Iamaleava, UCLA. Nico was at Tennessee last year. If you watch college football, you know what's going on. Transferred from Tennessee to UCLA, and I am surprised that we are not hearing more about Nico, because when he was at Tennessee, all I could hear about was how Nico was the next great SEC quarterback, and Heupel, the great offensive mind, has this great quarterback. They're going to dominate. Then he had just a great bowl game, and Nico is God's gift to football. Then he transfers, and he had issues with, I don't know if it was money reasons. I think it was money reasons. He said he wanted to be closer to family, which is probably true. But all of a sudden, everything went silent around Nico. Why? Why is that? Well, it's because he went to a team that's on the West Coast and is not competing for a Big Ten championship. However, I think what's going on at UCLA, we got our overhyped, underhyped section. UCLA falls into the underhyped section. I think they are going to cause some problems for some people in the Big Ten. Number 3, I have Maddox Madsen at Boise State. I debated putting him at number 3. I wasn't sure, because how much of it was Ashton Jeanty. He was the best running back in the country. And so they had to respect him. So Maddox Madsen got to just thrive off of play action. And he took advantage of it. But what is he going to do without Ashton Jeanty there? They still have a pretty good running back room. There's like 3 guys that can run the ball there. Is Maddox Madsen a legit quarterback? I think this is the year we find out. He did well last year, and I think he is deserving of the 3rd best quarterback on the West Coast. But is that overshadowed, or is that number there because of Ashton Jeanty? That's my question. I think we will find out. Number 4, it starts getting a little. I'll give honorable mentions out after, but 4 and 5 kind of iffy to me because there's a lot of guys that I've seen, and we've been hearing they're getting better and they have better pieces around them. And then there's other guys we haven't seen, but they've been hyped out the wazoo, given 5 stars. We've seen a little bit from them, and it's been pretty good, but we haven't seen a full season and a lot of snaps from them. Number 4, I have Dante Moore at Oregon. Young kid getting a chance to start. We've seen him play a little bit. I think he's going to be good. I think he's going to be good because he's got great pieces around him at Oregon. They're going to help him out. He has a great coaching staff around him at Oregon. So we haven't seen a full body of work from Dante Moore, but I like what I've seen in the past. And I think he has the pieces around him to where he could finish as the top quarterback on the West Coast. That's where so I have him at 4, but he could finish as 1. And number 5, I have Caden Salter at Colorado. Caden Salter, and I should put at 5 is I should put whoever wins the Colorado job. Julian Lewis, I believe is his name, is the 5-star quarterback who is at Colorado as well. He could beat Caden Salter out. But I would still leave it whoever wins that starting job, I'd leave them at 5. I like Caden Salter. I like what I saw at Liberty. He led them, granted in Conference USA, but to a great season, and he was very successful at Liberty. He's a dual threat guy. I'm curious to see how Colorado uses him if he wins the starting job. And he is the projected starter right now. That's why we'll talk about Salter. And I think Caden Salter could be very good and very successful behind Colorado's O-line. They have some good offensive linemen there, and they have more depth there this year where I think Caden Salter can be pretty successful and have time to get the ball to their weapons. And they have some pretty good weapons there. But he's number 5. Other quarterbacks that are right there, 5B and C, I would say Devin Dampier out of Utah. He was a transfer from New Mexico. The reason I didn't put him there is because, I got to see him as a Fresno State fan. I got to see him at New Mexico. And he was good, but there wasn't, I wouldn't say it was anything. He didn't blow me away, right? Now, Utah has got pieces there around him to make him better, but I wasn't ready to put him in the top 5. You have Malik Murphy at Oregon State, who has transferred from Duke, I believe. There's a lot of hype around him. You have Noah Fafita at Arizona, Jordan Mailata at USC. Another guy that I think is going to fly under the radar is Anthony Calandria at UNLV. When that kid is on, when he transferred from Virginia, I believe it was his freshman year at Virginia, he tore it up. And when that kid's on, he's a dual threat guy that can do a lot. Then you have Braden Fowler Nicolosi at Colorado State. He struggled last year without Horton, he had Horton. He had Horton, I believe, right? But they did not live up to the hype last year. But I still think he's pretty good. We'll see how Fresno State turns out. Projected starters E.J. Warner. We'll see if Conklin transfer from Sac State can beat him out. Whoever starts there, we'll see how well they do. I think the running game is going to be the primary focus at Fresno State. So they're going to live off of play action. We'll see how they handle that. You have Bryson Barnes at Utah State. Devin Brown at Cal, transfer from Ohio State. Man, I'm just listing them off now. But all these guys I had on like my honorable mention list, because there's a lot of good quarterbacks here that I think, especially on the West Coast, there are a ton of question marks. Guys that we saw at other programs do well. Well, do they have pieces around them again where they can be successful? How are they going to be used? Will they be used in the same way? Are Caden Salter and Malik Murphy going to be used a certain way? Is a Devin Brown from Cal who transfers from Ohio State to get playing time? Is he legit? Is Dante Moore legit? What are we getting there? Can Maddox Madsen thrive without Ashton Jainty? What's Nico going to look like? Really, the only guy on the West Coast where we know what we are going to get, in my opinion, Sam Levitt. You might be able to argue for Noah Fafita. And then I think USC is really hoping for a big step from Mayava. But really, in my opinion, it's Sam Levitt. He's number one. You know what you're going to get. He's successful. He's athletic. He can throw the ball well, and he's got probably the best weapons at wide receiver. There you go. Sam Levitt 1, Nico 2, Maddox Madsen 3, Dante Moore 4, Caden Salter 5. And if he's not starting, I'll take the other guy as well at 5. All right. There's your top 5 quarterbacks, college quarterbacks on the West Coast. Let's get to overhyped or underhyped. We had quite a few of these. I scrolled through once, just looked very quickly. We'll see if I can, we'll see how we do through here. Okay, we have living in the dorms in college. In Fresno, it is underhyped. I lived in the dorms, gosh, it's almost been 10 years now. Jeez Louise. I've been out of college for 10 years now. Well, no, but when I lived in the dorms. Fresno State dorms are looked down upon. And people don't like, there's some negative connotation that comes with the dorms at Fresno State. I tell you what, all of my best friends I made that I still talk to right now came from the dorms. We had a riot. Now, yes, it's hard. Like you know what makes it hard is because a lot of the kids in the dorms in Fresno go and join sororities or fraternities and sororities, which is fine. I'm all for you do your thing, but then they neglect the people that they live with in the dorms. Okay? Or they live in outside communities that 30 minutes or less away from the school. So then they can just go home whenever they want and they take advantage of that and they just go home. And they don't invest into the people around them and what's going on in the dorms and the potential that is there. I was with a great group where we left our doors open. All the guys, we left our doors open, had a great time, may or may not have had beer in there. We were of age, fine. But they didn't allow it, but what they didn't know didn't hurt them. Played video game tournaments. I mean, we did it all. It was awesome. Played intramurals together. And now we're playing fantasy football together. We have our fantasy leagues that we do, and we get together all the time. Underhyped. If you're going into the dorms or you currently live in the dorms, embrace it. And you may have to take the lead on bringing everyone together. Underhyped. Other schools, though, I'd say properly hyped because you have schools that are massive and, everybody lives on campus. Okay. Waiting to get married because of finances. Overhyped. Just get married. You're gonna be poor no matter what. just get married. When you're young, I got married at 23. By no means did I have any money in the bank. I still don't, because you eventually want kids, and you should want kids. They are the biggest joy in life. Have lots of kids. But so many people talk, well, I got to wait to get my degree. I got to wait for this. I wait to get, then they have to wait to find a job. Then they have to wait for their spouse to find a job. And then they start their, graduate school, and then they go for their master's, and then you're waiting. And I gotta wait for so much money in the bank. Excuses. Doesn't matter. You will figure it out. And I think it's good for us to go through that and learn. Waiting to get married because of finances is overhyped. I think the less finances you have, the better early in marriage, because you're going to learn, and you're going to have to lean on your love for each other, and you're really going to have to work on your relationship with Christ, because that is a covenant that you have made with Christ. That's what marriage is. Piñatas at a little kid's birthday party. Underhyped. We need to bring them back. They are super fun. Now, last year we had one at my son's 2-year birthday party, and they make piñatas different these days. It was impossible to open. I don't know if things have changed over the course of a year. I'll let you know, because his 3rd birthday is coming up soon here, and we're going to do it again for sure, because it's fun. And there's another reason why these are underhyped and need to be brought back. But one, we talked about perseverance. These piñatas teach kids perseverance. You got to really go after this thing. And if you're not tough, if you're not mentally tough, they will break you. And if you're not physically tough, you will not break that piñata. So you have to be both. You have to be both mentally tough and physically tough. Also, you have to be mentally tough and physically tough after the thing breaks, because you got to fight all your friends for the candy, right? And guess what? If you come into my piñata, there's very little candy, because I'm not trying to give out diabetes here. So I'm trying to build strong kids. You guys remember, right? You remember the one kid that shoved everybody and just collected all the candy? And then what happened? Then his mom made him share. So it taught the bully how to share, right? We humbled the bully. Also, you taught the soft kids to toughen up. Why did piñatas go away? That's the exact reason why piñatas went away. Don't drool on me, please, dog. But it's the exact reason why they need to come back. We're having piñatas at my kids' birthday parties. They are underhyped. Old school record players, aka vinyls. Oh, extremely underhyped. I think the aesthetic that it brings to the house, I think, is properly hyped. I think people like that. But I never hear them being played. They still sound great. Record players, vinyls, underhyped. It's too easy to turn on your phone and cast your Spotify playlist, right? Every song you like is on there. It's catered to you, right? And this conversation could go even into albums, right? Albums tell a story. We don't get that anymore. We just get singles released on Fridays now. They go into your release radar. All right. Aaron was hyped when I released this. He said, "Let's go. It's here." And then proceeded to blast me with a bunch of overhyped, underhyped. And his first one is Sydney Sweeney. Overhyped. Yes, she's pretty. I think most women are pretty. I mean, women are a gift from God. Like, they are beautiful. And Sydney Sweeney is beautiful. But you know what's overhyped is the way that she is using her body. I understand sex sells. I understand. But to me, it disgusts me that sex sells. It's disgusting. It causes people to stumble. Not about that. I'm trying to help some brothers out. And the way that Hollywood and YouTube now and all these things, advertising, and it's been like this for a long time. But I'm not about using the female body that way. I would, if that was my wife, I would not be happy. And I don't think it's good. I don't think that's a good way to bring glory to God. I don't. You know what I think is great? Is showing your boobs and butt to your husband. That's what I think is great. Not the rest of the world. Okay. Gosh dang it, Marge. Drooled all over me. I can't stand my dog. That's terrible. I can't stand my dog. Aaron, I said he submitted a few. Said the Amish. He thinks they're underhyped. I think they are properly hyped. I think there's something to be said about enjoying the world around you and being out in nature and working with your hands. I think that's very important. But I have been to Amish country in Pennsylvania. I visited there. And let me tell you something. They all have cell phones and iPods or iPhones that with music. They have electronics. Their horse and buggies are decked out with subwoofers and neon lights. Big moth. I'm serious. This is what I saw in Amish country. So I don't believe the hype that they're all about, no electricity, and that stuff. And they also don't believe in dancing. Okay. What? That's biblical. Dancing because you're joyful that the Lord has given you life. That's biblical. Right? I praise the Lord by dancing. Dancing not a sin. It can be used as a sin. Anything can. The wrong way, in the wrong mindset. But I actually think the Amish are properly hyped. And I even lean towards overhyped. But they do work with their hands and they spend a lot of time with their community. And I think that's what we're missing outside of the Amish community. Yeah, my thoughts there. And then I have EA Sports College Football 26, the college football video game that came out. Yeah, I think it's overhyped. And they took my money. It's just one big patch. So nowadays on video games, they can just update the video game in their warehouse, their office, and then send it to us through that update to us. Well, that's what these games, these sports games that are made every year, pretty much are. It's just an update, but they charge you $70 for the update. There's some like ease of life stuff on Dynasty mode, which I play, that makes life so much easier and the game more enjoyable. But all those things could have been done on an update. All of it. So it's overhyped. You know what's underhyped? playing video games with your friends. Not enough people actually play video games with their buddies. They go on and play with other people. But I mean, like back in the day, multiplayer, split screen, you're all on the same screen, sitting next to each other. That needs to be talked about more. That is completely underhyped. Gaming by yourself, talking to your friends through a speaker, totally overhyped. All right. There's your overhyped, underhyped segment for this Friday. One of the things I want to get to really quick is Terry McLaurin has requested a trade from the Washington Redskins. And here, my first thought with this is, look, just go. I'm not paying for a wide receiver. You're going to hear this from me all the time. But in order to build a Super Bowl winning team, you need to have a good offensive line and a competent quarterback and a good defense. Sorry, skill position players. We can get by without drafting you or paying you a bunch of money. For example, look at all the teams that won the Super Bowl. Okay. Yeah, look, I get the Eagles had Saquon. They also had the best O-line in the league, a competent quarterback, and a stellar defense. That's what's most important. So when these wide receivers and running backs want a bunch of money, and I'd even argue tight ends, they want a bunch of money, fine, man, go get it. That's fine. We'll take somebody else. They're going to be able to do that job. There's plenty of them. We will find them. So with Terry McLaurin requesting a trade, one, you have to think, well, does he want to win? Because Jaden Daniels is I think a pretty good quarterback. He's a young quarterback, tons of potential there. Why would you want to run from that? I don't know. You want to make money. You think you can get the same amount of money you can as these other wide receivers. Fine, go and try and get it. But where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in playing with the guys you've been with for so long? And you could see the progress we're making and working with them. And I don't know. I just don't see any fun in chasing money. Okay, if something else is going on, okay, well, that's a different conversation. But if you're chasing money, I don't think that's dust in the wind, man. So, anyways, I'm not a bit. That is going to be the conversation we have every time I see a skill position guy, or even I would say any position. If you're chasing money, that's the conversation we're going to have if we're chasing money. If somebody comes to you and offers a bunch of money, and which I think O linemen and D linemen should be probably the next highest paid positions other than quarterbacks. So, we can have different conversations when it comes to those positions. Honestly, I think we can. But when it comes to something like this is what I'm thinking. Then the other thing that came up, there's the MLB trade deadline was yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago. And I think it was yesterday. And we had some news from California teams. Once again, you have the A's selling their players for prospects. I don't know, why do they keep playing this game? They sent Miller, their pitcher, away, and they got a shortstop, one of the top prospects from San Diego, because San Diego was a big buyer this year at the trade deadline, and their team looks legit, like very cool lineup. It's going to be a lot of fun. And here's what I am learning from the NFL, the MLB, and the NBA. And all these teams are buying, and we saw this with the Rams right back in the day when they basically bought their Super Bowl. That they had Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Matthew Stafford. They're paying all these big name guys to come play. They win the Super Bowl, then they all go home. Well, what's the goal, right? The goal is to win championships. So I think you should go out and buy the best players if you can. And it should be a reoccurring thing that you have come up every year. Who's going to buy championship, right? So the Padres see this with the Dodgers, and the Yankees are really struggling, but they see it with all these teams around them, and they've tried to do this, right? But they haven't quite got there. Now they've done it, right? Now the Padres are there. Now there's no excuses. But I think it's the same for NBA and all these sports, right? Sure, do you want to build through the draft? Yes, that's fun. But you're not going to win that way. Right? It's going to take you some time. I think it should be, let's win right now. My job as a coach is to win right now. Now, I understand baseball is different. You have the owners. You have to have an owner and a manager that are on the same page. You have to have an owner that wants to buy. You have to have a manager that wants to trade or is willing to trade. I get all that. But if our goal is to win right now, this is a business. We're in the business of winning. A's, you're not. But if you're in that business, you should want to win right now. So go buy good players. Make trades that get you there. And circling back to the A's, that's why I can never understand these owners that don't want to spend money. Are you not competitive? You're okay going under 500 every day, every year, but you're okay with saying, oh, well, guess what? We have the number 2 prospect. Great. And now you traded him. For what? More money? For money? Like what? Remember, chasing money gets you nowhere. You'll be in the grave before you know it. And guess what? In the grave, you can't take anything with you. Not even championships. But I just don't get it. Then the other thing I don't get is the Twins. The Twins sold all their good players. Why? The Twins have been building, it seems like, for the past couple of years. They've had a decent team. They haven't had a good team, but they've been mediocre, and you have seen the potential, right, in Minnesota. And then they just blew it all up. See ya. Bye, everybody. What? It doesn't make sense. And I think if you're competitive, it doesn't make sense to you. Why? Like you could say everything you want about, building for the future and all these different things. Or they needed to do this because of this, and the team is selling and getting, transferring ownership and blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense to me. I want to win. I need the best players in order to do that. I'm going to keep my best players on the team and go find other players that are going to mesh well with them and fit into our culture and want to win. That's what I'm going to do. Anyways, I just don't get it. I don't get it. And last but not least, we had football yesterday. We actually had a football game yesterday. The Hall of Fame game, Chargers, Lions. It's preseason, so I shouldn't read into it much. However, I always do. And I will always overreact, and I will not apologize for it. It's fun. Okay. And that's what sports is. It's entertainment. We should be doing this, and don't take it so seriously. The Lions have no depth. That's what I learned last night. The Lions have no depth. Unless something changes, their quarterback situation after Goff, they're in trouble. Like defensively, they struggled. Like Lions have no depth. The Chargers, they looked great. And and I said you can't read into this that much because there's two teams every year that have so much hype around them all the way up leading into week 1, regular season game 1. And that is the Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys. But the Chargers played. We saw Trey Lance play, and the Lions defense, it was their backups. I understand. But Trey Lance looked pretty good. He had 2 tutties. We'll see what happens with that defense. And so I say all that to say, I'm more focused on the Lions here rather than the Chargers. Was Aaron Glenn the difference maker in Detroit? Former DC, now the head coach for the New York Jets. Was he the difference? I don't know. Only time will tell. And it was preseason game 1. Don't read into it too much. But something was off. Something was off. We'll see if Campbell can fix that. Chargers with Jim Harbaugh looked pretty good. And they looked all right. There was a rookie wide receiver. And that was pretty good. He had the connection with Trey Lance. Liked what I saw. Football's back, though. Football's back. Okay, here's the other thing, though. I love football. I love college football. But I gotta say, I love sports in general. I love all sports. The first play was the kickoff, right? The kickoffs stink in the NFL. They change the kickoffs. They stink. It's not fun. I'm not digging it. But the first play, the guy fumbled. And what happens is we got to sit through replays. They got to find out if his knee was down and all this stuff, right? First play, it was perfect for football fans and non-football fans. It reminded me that this game is way too slow. We talk about baseball being slow. I think it's actually at a nice pace of play right now. I still don't know how I feel about the man on second base and extra innings, but the pace of play is I kind of like it. I'm enjoying it. Football with the replays and you get a break between plays, we're huddling up and all this stuff. All the commercials. I think it's worse than baseball. I do. I think it's worse than baseball. Only thing that saves it is that there's gladiators trying to take off the other gladiators' heads. That's what saves it. Right? We dig that for some reason. I don't know. But anyways, I thought it was perfect that happened on the first play of football for the year. Fumble, and then we got replays. Oh my Lanta. Got to sit through all of this. Maybe that's my lack. That's me needing my dopamine hit because I scroll too much. But anyways, what I need from you guys is for the Central Valley, we're going to start doing, I said top 10 on Instagram and X, but we're going to do top 5. Top 10 is just going to be too much. We're going to do top 5s. Get creative with it. I want you to send in topics for top 5s. So, for example, what was sent in? I got top 5 old fashions, places to cool down during the summer, restaurants to have a good waitress or waiter at, night out with little ones, tri-tip sandwiches, You get my gist. Like, let's be creative. We're gonna spend some time, write all these down, spend some time making lists, and then we'll have an episode where we just go through that. And if you're a business and you want to be included in one, I don't know, send me something and we'll put it on YouTube, and I'll enjoy tri-tip sandwich on YouTube, and you might get the #1 spot. Anyways, yeah, that's what we're working on right now. So it's gonna be top 5s rather than top 10s, because I cannot run to 10 different places and try old fashions. Well, excuse me, I'd have to run to like 24 different places, purchase an old fashioned that's $17, and I got 2 kids I got to raise, so I can't do that. So I'd have to keep working all the time. I mean, I have to work 5,000 hour weeks. All right. Anyways, that's what's in the books. This Saturday, tomorrow, we have our Saturday special coming out where we talk with people in the Central Valley. This Saturday special is actually pretty special. I got to sit down with my dad, John Nail, and we talk about farming. Talk about the family farmer. We talk about his journey from starting out with very little money in the bank and then going to growing the family farm, purchasing land, growing, and then starting a winery. What that looks like, the current state of the farmer in the Central Valley, what that looks like, and then I talk, and he shares his personal journey through all that, his struggles and his successes, and it was actually really nice to sit down as have a father-son conversation and have him share that stuff. So that is coming out tomorrow. So check that out, and that is audio only on Spotify. So you're gonna have to get on Spotify and pull those up. I have not put any of those up yet on YouTube. I need to sit down and do that. Maybe this weekend. All right. Thank you, guys. Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday. See ya.